a little stretched, but it goes back after a little bit of time. She's sticking in the
So that's quite perfect because hair has this property called elasticity, where it's supposed to bend and then go back to normal, and that's what actually provides the strength to the hair. So you're doing absolutely fine on that count. You really don't need any work on that.
Porosity. So how does your hair feel in general? Choose one of the three. Do you want me to read that out? I feel like a hair model. It's always smooth and silky. Not great. It's usually rough, dry, tangled. Or the third one, don't know where to start. Split ends, dull, dryness, and damage. I would say that it's not too great. It's usually rough and dry and pretty tangled.
See, this actually is a very important test because porosity means the ability of your hair to hold moisture inside and whether it's going to allow moisture to go in and out of the hair. So when you do a lot of treatments, which again, like we said, is inevitable with the kind of lifestyles we lead, hair does tend to become overly porous, and that's when you start getting dryness and dullness when you don't use products. But there are ways to fix it, especially through your diet, and we'll talk about that a little while later.
Actually, you're right. The other day I went for my hair color, and she said exactly the same thing. The more coloring you do to your hair, the more bleaching, the more porous it becomes.
Right.
And slowly it starts to break because the porosity of the hair becomes so much that...
Right.
Yeah, so
I think porosity is now a common feature that everyone's hair is becoming overly porous because we even simple shampooing, using a blow dryer, and of course coloring, straightening is even worse because we're all the time using heat treatments on the hair. All that tends to make the hair dry by letting the moisture out. So there are ways of fixing it, and that's what the test is going to help you understand where you're on that scale.
Okay, so that's the last now. Protein loss. And finally, does your hair feel voluminous without using hairspray? Okay. I just added that. Your options are A, totally, I have to use a large crunchy. Second, not very, it's decent. Third is hair volume. What's that?
I think this one mainly depends on the season.
Yeah.
I think this one mainly depends on the season or the day. We all have our days, but I think it's not very. It's quite decent.
Yeah. So see, protein loss is again linked to porosity. So as the more porous your hair becomes, the more protein you lose. And the more protein you lose, the water bonds break and you lose water, and the hair loses volume, it becomes flat. And you actually see that quite a lot in the monsoon season, right? So your hair frizzes out, and then when you come back and wash it, it becomes completely flat. It's because the moisture is moving in and out. As the moisture moves out, so does the protein, and the hair tends to become flatter.
No, I'm just asking, so does the hair oil help you seal that?
Yes, and actually hair oil does it very beautifully because unlike most conditioners, it doesn't just seal it from outside. It penetrates into the hair, so even after you wash it off, it seals it from inside. So it doesn't allow even rainwater to get into the hair.
It won't get frizzy, you mean to say?
No, in fact, people think if I put hair oil, I'll look chapu and I'll look, completely dull. But actually, if you put hair oil and wash it off, you'll have greater volume.
Wow, that's super.
That's amazing.
That's good to
Let's see
know.
how you fare.
Yeah, so she did pretty good,
She's right in
her
the
score
middle.
is, her score is somewhere just above average. What you could do better is start, like I said, pre-conditioning your hair by using hair oils. And most importantly, focus on your diet. So there are some things which are very, very important for the hair. And in fact, in the book, I bracketed them all together under the phrase Ziplockables. So each of those again stands for one food nutrient. So you literally ziplock all the ingredients needed for your hair. But the most important from your test for you is protein. So you should start eating more of eggs, fish, lean meat, soya. The moment you incorporate that into the diet, you'll stay slim and you'll also have great hairs.
Protein always works, yeah.
Wow.
Every dietitian puts you on that.
So it's important to eat protein with every meal and not just like in the form of a shake or something, but to complement it with every meal so it works for you through the day.
Wow. That is so insightful. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you, Radhika.
Thank you, Radhika.
Your hair looked great, by the way. Anyway.
Okay, the floor is now open for questions. Benny. We request you to kindly address the questions based on the book, Let's Talk Hair.
Yeah, hello. Hi, Chitrangda. You're looking great.
Thank you.
Well, we have to just talk about the hairstyles. So, what role do you think the hairstyles play in bringing up the character on the screen, the desired character, while you just work in any of the movies or like?
I think hair styles and hair really change you as a character. You know, it's amazing. Like I remember in my last film, Inkar, that I did, my hair went really short. I cut my hair really short for to play a woman who's in power, who's in control. She's also somebody who has to be almost a man in a man's world kind of a thing. So it completely changed my character from playing a very young intern that she plays in an ad agency in the beginning, where her hair is long, is a bit messy and things like that. So I think whenever you change hairstyles drastically like this, it brings a huge change in your character. And no, it's back. So yeah, I think hair really does define you, and I think that's why there's been so much of obsession about hair recently. It definitely adds to your sex appeal and to your character. Yeah.
And what kind of dietary regimen do you follow to take care of your hairs?
Well, like she just said, in fact, the protein is really important. So your omegas are really important, omega-6, and so I do take some supplements. But I think mostly, like she said, diet is the most important thing, right? So including fish and things like that in your, and walnuts, like she was just telling me backstage, I've quickly taken my tips. So yeah, I think walnuts and all these, you know, dry fruits and things like, which are very rich and nutrient dense, I think things like that are very good for your hair. And read the book.
What's the best solution for bad hair?
That's a really interesting question, and there's a whole chapter dedicated to that actually in the book. But just to give you 2 or 3 top of the line tips for bad hair days. So one of the things that really lead to bad hair days is, you know, when you've styled your hair on a particular day and you've gone to bed without, you know, using some product on it before you go to bed to reduce the styling. Ideally, on the days that you styled your hair a lot, you should wash your hair at night and you know, dry it fully before you go to bed so that you don't wake up with a tangled hair the next day. Now supposing you have to step out and you have a lot of flyaways and your hair is really misbehaving and you don't have any specific special conditioner or anything in your handbag, one of the simplest things to do is to take a little bit of your own moisturizer or sunscreen. Just rub it into your palm and run it through your, you know, through the tips of your hair from top to the bottom, because most of the moisturizers contain some kind of protein or the other which tends to settle down the bad hair days. And thirdly, when you have a bad hair day, don't try to tie your hair back too tight to, you know, show that it's not behaving, because that definitely leads to a second bad hair day. So just tie it back loosely, let it do its own thing till you can go and fix it.